My dear friends, I'm Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, Medical Director of BioCare Hospital. And today I have a very important subject to talk about. I'd like to talk about a very important part of our life, which is at the same time very simple and very, very complex. It's one of those things that every time I examine them, I start thinking, obviously we were created by a superior mind. It's difficult to believe that we are just the end of a chance. I think there's so many things that have happened in making the human body and making the human body function as it does, that there has to be a lot of how we were created. But as a good friend of mine said, we were created in perfection. We managed to damage the thing, but we were created in perfection. And today I'm going to talk about protein. But I'm not going to talk about protein, the usual thing. I'm not going to tell you about amino acids and proteins and that we should eat flesh and fish and that type of thing. No, I'm not going to use my time to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the most abundant and probably one of the most important proteins in the body. It is collagen. Let me tell you how important it is. Dry weight, the human body, is 1/3 collagen. 1 full third. Can you believe that? That's how important it is. And it's a protein that's just about everywhere. Or I should say everywhere in the body. There's not one tissue, there's not one part of the body, there's not an organ in the body, there's nothing in the human body that doesn't have collagen. Because collagen is the scaffold, is the rebar, is the support of every single cell in the body. It keeps them together, it joins them together. It takes care of organs so they don't spread all around. Imagine the liver without any connective tissue. The liver would just would fall open like a bat-made jello. Would be nothing. You'd not have a liver as we see it. We would not have kidneys as we see them. We would not have lungs or heart or brain or blood vessels or bones or joints, you name it. Skin. I'm telling you, there's not one single part of the human body that doesn't need collagen to stick together, to function, and to be able to do the wonderful thing the human body can actually do. Not only that, but collagen can present itself in different ways. This type of protein can change in a very dramatic way. And this is another of the miracles of life. Protein is made by only 20 amino acids. And out of those 20 amino acids, 9 of them are essential. What do you mean by essential amino acids? What you mean by that is that the human body cannot make them. In other words, if you don't get them with your food, you are in problem. Because the other ones, you can make them. You don't have them, your body will make them. But these essential amino acids, if we do not put them in our daily diet, then we're going to be in serious problems. Nevertheless, with only 20 substances, the body can produce thousands, literally thousands of different proteins. Why? Because they make long chains. Out of 20 amino acids, you can have proteins with 2,000, with 30,000, with 50,000 different amino acids link one with the other. And of course, you're going to say, if we only have 20 amino acids, how can I have a combination of 200, let's say? If I don't have to repeat myself. Of course you repeat yourself. You have glycine here, then this one, glycine again, blah, 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 glycine again, etc. Amino acids are repeated. And depending of that repetition and the number of, let's say, glycine or tryptophan or whatever amino acid, the chemical properties of that protein is going to change. Not only we have these long molecules or molecular chains, but also there's a possibility that one of these amino acids connects with this one, so it creates a loop or a kink or something like that. So they can become very complicated. If you watch proteins in space, they're in very many ways. Let me give you a very simple example that I think we all have in our mind. DNA. DNA is a long chain of protein. And you know, we talk about the double helix. That means that you have two chains of proteins twisted around each other. Well, you can have triple helix in certain proteins. And that's the collagen that makes the big fibers of the connective tissue. All you have to do is touch your knee, and right under the knee bone, you're going to feel a large, thick tendon that keeps all the muscle of the thigh attached to your leg's bone. That thick thing is made of collagen, with this triple helix structure that create these fibers that are very strong, very hard to break, very hard to do anything to it. What about Achilles tendon? You can put your hand in the back of your feet and feel this huge tendon. It's so huge, it's so dramatic that it created the legend that Achilles had all his strength in that place. The only way to destroy him was to attack that part of his body. And those are connected things that we can see. What about the elasticity of our skin? Why is it so supple? Why it holds so well together when we're young and keeps everything in shape and beautiful? That's collagen. What about our joints? What makes them so slippery so they can function one bone against the other without rubbing, without creating a problem? That's collagen. So, blood vessels have a different type of fibers. Instead of being very strong, they are very soft and very elastic. So the blood vessel can open up and diminish in size and function very well. When we lose that, then we lose the ability to control the volume of blood going through the blood vessel. The blood pressure goes up and circulatory problems start to happen. So you probably are beginning to guess where I'm going to. Not only protein is important, but collagen is particularly important because it's 1/3 of the dry weight of the body, and it is everywhere, supports everything, helps everything, and it's an integral part of every organ, every system, every bone, every anything of the bone. So when it starts to fail, things can go very wrong. And as with many other things in modern life, we had made very important mistakes in the last probably 100 years or less than 100 years in changing the way we used to eat, in changing the way we see food, in changing the way we process food, in changing the things that we do with our body, and the toxics we create, the free radicals we create, etc., etc. So we end up damaging the very same systems, the very same structures that were created to give us well-being and performance. We're damaging them. So I want to bring you to two parts. Number one, to see how important, and think, and just close your eyes and think where in your body you do not need support, where you do not need scaffolding, where you don't need things joined together, where you don't need anything. And you're going to see that there's nothing in your body that doesn't require this wonderful protein. But on the other hand, how we neglected this very important substance through many changes in our lifestyles, diets, etc., and how it's affecting our health. Now, I know we all can keep young and beautiful and performing and feeling well, and we will never accomplish that if we don't have a healthy collagen system. That's what's generally called the connective tissue. And nobody could say it better. Connective tissue. It's the one that brings the whole body together. Otherwise, it would spread apart. Every single organ, every single part of the body. So in keeping it together and tight and performing, we need this wonderful protein, which is very complex, but we don't have to understand its complexity. All we have to understand, and that's where I want to get to the end, if you stick to me till the end, how I'm going to keep this protein always flourishing and always servicing my body. So I don't want you to go anywhere. I want you to meditate a little bit about these words, about a little bit of what this protein can do for us and does for us, and what you can do to keep this protein abundant and healthy. Stay with me. You are with Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, Medical Director of BioCare Hospital. And I'm delighted to be with you today because the message that I have for you today can really help your life in so many ways that I cannot begin to tell you. And all we need is a little bit of sitting back, relax, and think of the subject that I'm covering today. Collagen. It's a word that we have in our minds and in our vocabulary, in our daily conversation, all the time. We all talk about collagen, particularly when we talk about skin and creams, that type of thing. We talk about hyaluronic acid, and we talk about beauty, etc., etc. And the big problem with collagen, like with many other things in the health field, is two things. One, there's a lot of ignorance. We don't really know what it is. And second, there's neglect. We don't pay too much attention to it. Yes, we have a lot of conversation with friends and family, and they say, oh, I'm doing this and this. Particularly when you tell somebody, oh, you look very good, what are you doing? And they tell you, oh, I have this cream because it has collagen, because it has hyaluronic acid, and so on. But we don't really stop to say, and what is it? It's very rare that you can go to a beautician that really knows what they're talking about. Let's be frank. And I have a lot of friends that do that, and I love them. I try to give them advice, etc. But let's face it, they're not trained to do that. So where do we have to get the knowledge? We have to get it ourselves. And here I go to my general point. If you don't get at the helm of your healthcare system, you're going to have a lot of problems. In other words, we have to take responsibility, personal responsibility of making sure that we understand our body better and that we can help our body to function better. That's why I do these programs. That's why I love to talk to you. Because I want you to get at the helm. I want you to say, I can control. I'm the CEO of my healthcare system. My doctor is my advisor, and I love him. My beautician is an advisor, and I love my beautician too. But I have to have a level of knowledge, a level of education, so I can see if what they tell me makes sense and set in motion what I have to do to be healthy. In other words, you have to be proactive. You just don't sit and ask your doctor to give you a pill and ask your beautician to give you a cream. You have to get proactive. You have to say, this is what I need to do. Let's go back to the beginning. Way back to the beginning. You don't have to go too far. I know you were never invited to any party in ancient Rome or in Greece. But we have movies. And many of those movies are well put together with a lot of research and so on. And one thing that it is common to all those films and to all those scenes about ancient world is every time you see people eating, you see what? You see bones. You see people with a big rib, with a big leg of a turkey, and chewing on it, and going to the bone. If you have a dog, you're going to see that your dog will go to the bone, will actually bite it. It has the powerful jaws and it can do it. But in other words, it goes to the connective tissue. Let me give you another example. Let's say, and we have seen it all in National Geographic and Discovery Channel, we see a group of lions killing an animal, and then of course the king gets to eat first. And what does he do? Does he take the tenderloin? Does he take the New York steak? Does he take any of that? No. He goes for the insides. He goes for the liver, for the spleen, for the etc. And then he will grind on the bones. What these animals are looking for is the quality protein and the connective tissue, the tendons, the parts that we discard. But somewhere, just in the last 100 years, because it didn't happen in America until very recently, we started going for the flesh. And we started talking about a good cut of meat. And then we went to the ultimate is, of course, tenderloin, which is one of the pieces of meat that has the least connective tissue of them all. But that's very cherished, that's expensive, that's what people look for. And we forgot about the other part. Let's go to chicken. We used to cook and eat the whole chicken. All of a sudden, because of misinformation, where a lot of the food industry has been involved, we decided that the skin of the chicken is bad, the bones of the chicken are bad, the organs of the chicken are bad, so we started eating skinned bone chicken and taking the least important parts of the chicken, which are the breast, and if you were a little bit lucky, you might have the thighs and the legs. But generally speaking, we threw the best part of the chicken to the garbage can. We have been a price for it. We have been paying a price for it. Because as we abandon the nutrition with good collagen content, we started having degenerative chronic problems. Like with a lot of things. Add to that refined sugar, add to that refined flour, add to that lack of minerals, add to that lack of fiber, add to that, and you have the picture that we have today. Young people in their 40s and 50s that are very sick. Young people that are dying before our eyes. People that we trust will be taking care of us in the future, they're dead now. And that's happening. That's happening before our eyes. And we have to pay attention because we want our children to take care of us. We want our children to go to our funeral, not vice versa. So what we did is we forgot about the good part of nutrition, which was in the bone, in the skin, in the parts of the meats, of the beef, of the pork, of the chicken that nobody wants anymore. So I'm trying to go back. And actually, if you follow our link, I'm going to take you to how you can get excellent quality hydrolyzed collagen out of chicken soup or beef stock. But you just have to know how to do it. And I want to insist in those tapes, I'm going to insist in how you do it so you get the good quality. And that's the way we used to cook. I'm reading a book by Auguste Escoffier, the founder of what's considered today's modern cookery, and he talks about creating those broths, that chicken soup, cooking for hours. 4, 6, 8, 12 hours. Why? Because connective tissue has to release the collagen, and that can only be done through heat and time. And I have to underline time. If you cook a broth or a chicken in 2 hours, or less because you have a pressure cooker, you are throwing away the best part of your food. You are becoming depleted in important nutrients, and you're wasting your money. Only thing you saved was time. For what? Right now, I love slow cookers. And if you follow the link that I'm telling you, you're going to see how we cook it. And I can even recommend you the type of slow cooker that you can use. The simpler are the better. So don't look for a lot of gadgets and dials and things like that. Something simple can make the difference. But if you do that, you're going to start learning how to put back all those proteins, all that collagen into your body. And once and for all, I'm going to tell you, if you rub collagen on your face, it's going to do nothing for you. But if you drink it in a well-made broth every day, it's not only going to help your face, but it's going to help your joints, your bones, your every single tissue in the body. So, when I see all those things, I say, really, when you think about it, it's very simple. All we have to do is what I'm asking all of you to do. Take time. Invest your time in learning how to take care of yourself. You're going to have nutritious food that tastes fantastic, that takes no effort whatsoever to do, and with which you can raise a family. But a family that's going to be healthy and strong and functional. You want your kids to go for sports, give them collagen. You want your skin to hold better, you have to take collagen. You want your joints okay, you need collagen. Stay with me. I have a lot more advice to give you. You are with Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, Medical Director of BioCare Hospital, and I'm having really good fun because I wanted to get this out of my chest. I've been thinking of it for a long time, talking about protein, talking about collagen, talking about all these things, and you know what? Probably what gives you a little bit of a problem is thinking, I cannot sit with a patient and instead of dispensing a pill, I'm going to tell them how to make a broth. But when thinking about it, when reviewing the medical literature, along with time-honored cookery, you find that they go hand in hand. The way we used to eat, the way we used to cook, was very healthy. I mean, people went from New York to Los Angeles on foot and fighting everything, jumping through over every hurdle you can think of, walking and fighting and cooking and eating and collecting, etc. And they could do it because they had very strong bodies. We go on a cruise ship today and we end up fatigued because we don't have the same stamina, we don't have the same energy. Where have we lost that? Well, we have lost it through our lifestyle. I'm going to tell you the other part of collagen that's also very important. Collagen and aging go hand in hand. You cannot separate one from the other. If you're one of those persons that worries about aging and looks about aging, this program is for you. Because I have told you in the beginning that collagen is the protein that holds everything together. Makes your cheeks look beautiful, your eyes wide open, your lips plump and beautiful, and all your skin also perfect, and all your organs together and tight. All you have to do is watch a youngster. Watch him. If you go to a swimming pool, I mean, you don't have to see face, you don't have to see anything. If you see bodies, you can figure out age. Because you see tight bodies equal youth. Spread around bodies equal aging or lack of care. Nevertheless, the consequence is due to the lack of good collagen formation. As we lose collagen, the strength of the joints will go down, The ability to move those bones once against the other without any friction will gradually disappear, creating inflammation. And remember, with inflammation always comes pain. And you're going to start feeling all those problems of, I have to stand up and give me a second, give me a couple of seconds before I can move, because I'm kind of stuck, because these things do not move as they used to. That's connective tissue. And then it hurts. It's painful. My knees or my fingers, all the joints are a little bit painful. That's collagen. And the quality of the skin, everything beginning to drop, that's collagen. I had a friend that had a very good saying. She said that looks like the icing of a cake at the end of the party. It just starts to drop and slide down. And that's aging. However, we know people that look very good and function well, etc. What is the difference? Well, the big difference is that they have a better collagen system. How can we affect this? Let's talk first about how we can damage our collagen system. I'm going to talk about one of the most important and one of the most obvious. I'm going to talk about cigarette smoking. Cigarette smoking is a big producer of free radicals. Free radicals are molecular toxic substances that go and produce mutation and tissue damage, and they in particularly damage collagen. That's one of the big ways how free radicals can damage your body, because they damage collagen. And if collagen is in your head, in your toes, in your elbows, in your hands, in your heart, in your colon, you name it, your skin, you are going to suffer all over. It's not one organ that's going to be affected. Cigarette smoking does not affect your lungs only. Get that in your head. Cigarette smoking will damage every single part of your body. And I have done this test very frequently. I meet people in a reunion, or I meet people just casually talking. I look at them and I say, you have a cigarette? I don't ask, because I feel bad if I ask them, do you smoke? But I say, do you have a cigarette? Because I know when they're going to tell me yes or not right now, I left them home or whatever. But you know that person is a smoker. And I had a very good friend of mine who used to smoke a lot. And I told her, look at this person smokes. How you know? Look at the skin, look at this, look at that. And then we would ask the person, and surely that person smoked. Look at this person, look how beautiful complexion she or he has. Do you smoke? No. You see? And I started doing that. And one day, I meet her, and I say, how are you doing? She says, by the way, I stopped smoking. And I said, how come? She said, you know, I started looking at people and doing what you did and asking if they smoke or didn't smoke. And I was appalled to see that everyone I didn't like the way they looked, smoked. That did it for me. I said, I'm not going to smoke anymore. So smoking produces a lot of free radicals. It is going to affect your lungs, your heart, your brain, your kidneys, your circulatory system, and your collagen all over. So that's one of the ways. But of course we can generate free radicals through a lot of things. If you eat a lot of refined sugar, if you eat a lot of refined things, of course, we have to eat natural. We have to eat food. Just a few days ago, I watched in YouTube a person that was talking about how to make a sauce, a Mexican sauce for enchiladas. And then he showed the ingredients. You know what? Not one single of the ingredient was a natural thing. She used powder chile, powder onion, powder garlic, powder you name it. So she had a tray with a lot of little containers, all with powder things. Even the chicken broth was in a powder. And I was wondering, well, this might be fine if I'm living in the space station, where I cannot go anywhere. But if I have a home, if I live in beautiful America, where I can go to a farmer's market and go out and get a beautiful plum, tomatoes and onions and garlic, etc., you name it, I can make much better food for my body. But when we start doing that in terms of convenience, we're damaging our body. Now let me tell you about a very important part of collagen. Very important part. Simple, inexpensive, easy to do, yet, like a lot of things, neglected. Vitamin C. For collagen to add each and every amino acid one after the other, we need vitamin C. Now, vitamin C is an essential vitamin. What I said for essential amino acids applies for vitamins. An essential vitamin is a vitamin that if we don't eat it, we don't have it. So vitamin C is crucial, is vital for collagen synthesis. So no matter how much protein, no matter how much everything you take, if you don't have vitamin C, nothing is going to happen. Nothing could be easier than that. Nothing could be easier than eat well, eat natural, get your chicken soup, get your good quality beef broth or bone broth, and vitamin C, your vegetables, your fiber, and stay away from toxic things. If you start doing that, I tell you, people are going to say, you look beautiful even without anything. Now, I want to underline one part. I'm a firm believer that as we age, we need external skin lubrication. So the use of creams and cosmetics to keep our skin moist, not only our face, but our arms, our legs, our whole body, is very important. And I have said it and I'm going to repeat it. It doesn't matter how much you spend on your cream. What really matters is how you keep your schedule. You have to do it every day. You have to do it very regularly. You can use a lower price product, but if you are consistent, you're going to get great results. You see, we're learning a lot. So don't go away. We still have more to tell you. You are with Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, Medical Director of BioCare Hospital. And today we have been talking about collagen. A very simple protein. Well, simple from the perspective of common, but very complex. Because it is a protein that can present itself in very many ways. It can present itself as a very strong, tensile fiber that used for big tendons, to big joint support, and that type of thing. But it can also be very fine, very elastic, like the one that covers the blood vessels, or certain organs like the liver or the heart, etc. So it can present itself in many ways, and it can also present itself in a laminar way. And that laminar structure can cover organs to hold them together, or like a very fine net that can keep a lot of structures together, like the brain that has a little fiber net which is very fine, very microscopic, but still helps the neurons to stick together, to hold together. It also works as a glue between cells. It keeps them together, so one cell is not here and the other moving around. They just are stuck together and they can work in conjunction. Now, this collagen, which is the most abundant protein in the body, it's very important. But number one, we ignore it a lot, we neglect it a lot, mainly because we don't know. Remember that information is power. So the more you know, the better off you're going to be. So I ask you to follow me. I ask you to tell me that you liked what you heard. And I invite you to give me your comments, your questions, because I'm going to get back to you. I will be happy to help you to understand and hopefully guide you to a healthier lifestyle. We're talking about all the wonderful things that collagen can do for us, and then we have talked about all the things that can go wrong with collagen and how. And mostly, probably more than 90% of the cases, is because something we did wrong. Yes, there are certain diseases that affect the collagen, like genetic diseases that can produce a gene that will not allow the body to make normal collagen. But those are the vast minority of the cases. You're talking about a few digits in percentage, whereas the big damage to the collagen system is produced by our lifestyles. By toxics, we mentioned specifically tobacco, which is one of the most harmful, but everything that produces a lot of free radicals is going to affect those tissues. We have talked about dietary deficiencies, and we mentioned specifically vitamin C as a key element for the health of our system. And we also understand how aging is hand in hand, directly connected to collagen welfare. The healthier our support system is, the better we're going to be able to keep our posture, our equilibrium, our strength, our ability to move, our ability to hold together, and that includes our complexion, the quality of our skin. All those things, most of the signs of aging are connected to a decline of the quality, of the quantity of the collagen system. And of course, one part of aging is decline of collagen system. So we have to keep it in good shape. What can we do? Let's say, doctor, I'm noticing a lot of problems. This is beyond just getting old, because I don't feel like doing what I used to do. My joints are beginning to hurt. I have some problems with them. If I stand up, I cannot start walking right away. I have to take few seconds because I have to warm up. That's the word we use. my skin is sagging, my whole complexion is sagging, I don't look as good as I did, and I'm beginning to get wrinkles, probably more than I should, more than what my friends same age have, or more than what my parents used to have when they were my age. I think I'm aging faster. I think I'm getting problems. And that is connected to loss of the quality and the quantity of collagen system. That's the time for you to call me. That's the time for you to do something important for yourself. I know people take vacation. Vacation is a break on your daily routine. You're doing everything in a certain way. And every now and then you say, I have to stop. I have to do something else. I have to put my mind under a different perspective and lighting and so forth. I have to relax. I have to get rid of some of the stress. And that is a vacation. That's what a vacation means. But many times, we decide to do the wrong thing. We go on a vacation where, of course, we're going to spend money. Of course, we're going to use our time. But we're not going to get any better because we are going to overeat. Unfortunately, it's less and less the type of vacation where we get more physical activity, where we do healthy things for our body, where we really actually increase our health. So many times people go back from vacation feeling tired. And as time goes, they develop the same pattern right away and feel tired and without incentives in a very short time. I invite you to think in a different way. I invite you to say, I'm going to take this vacation to BioCare Hospital. I'm going to spend 10 days, 2 weeks in a place where I'm going to be thoroughly tested, where I'm going to be thoroughly evaluated, and where I can do things that are going to change my life for better. And I want to, yes, rest, relax, stay away from stress, but at the same time, I want to do something more proactive for my body. Once I get thoroughly evaluated, I want to be given the food my body needs. I need the nutrition that I need. And if there are deficiencies that have been noticed in any of my testing, I can go ahead and do targeted nutrition intravenously. Because in 10 days, 2 weeks, I can put in your system everything your body needs, and you're going to feel the difference. And I'm going to detox. I'm going to detoxify. I want to get all the toxic substances from my system. I want to improve my gut, because now we know that the health of our intestinal tract is vital to our well-being, particularly to our mental well-being, because the gut makes 95% of serotonin, which is the hormone that makes us feel happy and well. So when you do all that with intestinal cleansing, detoxification, targeted intravenous nutrition, good nutrition, and of course a lot of relaxation techniques. You can do hyperbaric oxygen, you can use whole body massage, you can do a lot of things that are going to increase your body's ability to recoup, to get rid of toxins, to get functions going back again, and to get all the elements your body needs to restructure itself, to be healthy. I can put you in contact with a lot of people that can vouch to what I'm saying, that can tell their stories, that can tell you how much their life changed once they decided to do that. Your investment is going to serve you well, because you're going to go back to your work, you're going to go back to your life, but this time you're going to feel better. And the most important part is you're going to be motivated and understanding that biocaring your body can make a big difference. And when you go to your normal life and start making the changes, switching altogether to different lifestyles and care, then you're going to start regaining things you thought you had lost because you were getting older. No, you didn't lose them because you were getting older. You lost them because you were developing a disease condition. You were getting ill. If you stop all that, you're going to catch a lot of problems very early. You're going to resolve them very well. And you're going to go back to a healthier, much better outlook in the future of your life. You're going to love it. And you're going to say, as many of our patients say, why didn't hear about it before? Ask a question. You're going to have a free consultation. Contact me, contact our doctors, because we're going to be there for you always. Till next time, I'm Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, Medical Director of BioCare Hospital.